Well, hello. Welcome to Durbania Live. And joining me right now is the one and the only Cody Leach. How you doing, Cody?
I am doing well. Can't complain too bad for a Monday. I'm not as tired as usual, so that's a plus.
Yeah, well, that's always a plus. I
Exactly.
needed quite a bit of caffeine for this Monday to get me through as I sit here on my phone and get our live stream up so we can talk to the people and all that fun stuff. All right, so today, what Cody Leach and I are mostly going to be talking about is Robert Pattinson as Batman, which you could just tell from the thumbnail. That's what we're going to talk about. So that's the main thing. So Cody's going to give some of his opinions. I'm going to give some of my thoughts and opinions. We're going to go to you for your thoughts and opinions and really kind of just discuss this Matt Reeves Batman. So we don't know a lot. We know we got Penguin. We know we got Catwoman, but we don't know who's casted. We know we got Robert Pattinson. Finally, that's officially confirmed. He is our Batman. So, Cody, let's start with that. So if you're in the chat right now, go ahead, start leaving some questions. Cody and I will go through there in just a little bit and start picking it up. But Cody, your thoughts, Robert Pattinson, Batman.
He's not my top choice. He probably wouldn't even be in my top 10, but I like it. I'm okay with it. He's a good actor. I haven't seen all of his stuff. He seems to have done a lot of indie movies. I've seen most of The Rover. Good Time is probably the best thing that I've seen him do. That was pretty recent. He's a good actor. I mean, you put it on paper, is a good actor, a good spot for Batman. Sure. It just depends if he's going to be directed well. Depends if he's going to have a good script. Depends if, the villains are going to be good. A million other things can go wrong in this movie that casting a good proven actor like Robert Pattinson is not a bad move at all.
Yeah. And then I'm weird about this. I've only seen Robert Pattinson in Harry Potter when he's Cedric and he gets killed, and I've only seen him sparkle as a vampire. So I don't think there's too much else I've seen him in. So I have to say, as soon as I heard it, my heart sunk and I went, no! No, I don't want a sparkling Batman. And I know this is stereotypical because, as I keep looking online, I'm feeling very ashamed and embarrassed because everybody's like, well, that's stupid. He's done more than just being that sparkly vampire. He is a well-known actor who does all these great indie films, and his range is tremendous. And oh, howdy doody, is he just going to be an absolutely tremendous Batman? And all I'm thinking is sparkles.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because we find ourselves in this position every time, especially Batman, but anytime a big superhero is cast, nobody is ever happy.
Nobody.
There's never a casting where everybody's like, that's it. That's it. That's exactly what I want. Everybody's always like, oh, what that guy, that girl, what? No. It doesn't matter who it is. Going all the way back to Keaton. Keaton got that reaction. And then we got, probably every casting since then, except for maybe Christian Bale, because people didn't care about Batman at that point. Yeah. And then you get Heath Ledger's always the big example. I really liked Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck got the same response. You're like, oh, Daredevil, no. So it's funny how no matter who they cast, nobody's happy until we see the movie and we get it either proved right or wrong.
Yeah. And what's really funny about it is, so Ben Affleck, for instance, I wasn't thrilled that he was casted as Batman, but I didn't have that reaction. And part of it was because of Daredevil. I hated the movie, but he wasn't the reason I hated the movie. I hated the script. I hated the way it was shot. I hated everything else about it. I didn't think he was horrendous. And I kind of was thinking about him in that role. I was like, he could probably do Batman. And then he did better than I thought he was going to do. My prime example is the example everybody uses, and it's Heath Ledger.
Oh, yeah.
Because when Heath Ledger was casted as the Joker, my heart sunk and I screamed, no! Hi, the gamer critic. My heart screamed and I went, no! Because all I could think of was 10 reasons I hate you, or what was that?
10 things I hate about you.
There it is. Yeah, see, I hardly even remember that movie. 10 things. Yeah, whatever. And then A Knight's Tale, which I loved A Knight's Tale.
I love A Knight's Tale. It's a terrible movie, but it's awesome.
Oh, it is. But it's one of those things where it's I always saw him as an okay actor, but I just couldn't see him as the Joker. And then he was not just the Joker. He's the definitive Joker now that everybody has to be. So I'm trying to calm that little voice back here in the back of my mind that's sounding these crazy alarm bells and be like, shut up. You said the same thing about Heath Ledger, and now you love him. You might do the same thing about Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, is for just talking about acting caliber and acting quality, I have no worries whatsoever. The only worry with Robert Pattinson is just my worry of this movie overall is just that we don't know anything. It's been in production. We've done numerous videos, both State of the DCEU and standalone videos on our individual channels about the Batman for like the past 2.5 years. And I feel like we don't know any more now than we did 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool if Matt Reeves is taking his time to make a quality movie, but at the same time, the selfish part of me is like, get on with it. So I don't know what, that there was reports that he had said that it was going to be separate from the DCEU. And then there was reports saying, well, kind of, but not really. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like young Ben Affleck. I don't know if this is just going to be a totally separate Gotham verse. I don't know. And that's where my worry is, because I don't see Robert Pattinson as a young Ben Affleck, because Ben Affleck is a huge guy. He's big, he's tall, he was muscular, he was a brawler. I don't look at Robert Pattinson and see that. I look at Robert Pattinson and I see like Christian Bale in The Dark Knight, like slender, more Bruce Wayne than Batman. Batman.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen Ben Affleck, especially with the whole warehouse fight, like that's what I want from Batman. I want brawler. I want a guy that I look at and I go, nope, not messing with that guy. And Robert Pattinson, I'm like, could I take him? I don't know. So I don't know if he's going to bulk up a lot. I don't know if he's going to do the Hugh Jackman trick where he just gets ultra lean and it makes him look massively huge. I don't know. That's my only worry is where does this Robert, the Pattinson, where does Pattinson fit with Batfleck?
Pattinson, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Pattinson. I love it. Actually, you hit on something that I think is really a good question, not just for this movie, but for this latter half of the DCEU. Like, how much of what is coming up now is still connected with the DCEU that kind of had its issues going back and forth? Because you and we're not going to rant on this because we've already done it. So you could go through our past videos and see us rant on it. But we ranted on Wonder Woman and the 84, where we heard the rumors that, no, it's not really a sequel. Same cast, and it's a Wonder Woman movie, but it's not really a sequel. And just kind of trying to figure out, well, what does that even mean? It's a sequel, but not a sequel. Are you trying to do a soft reboot with the same cast? If that's what you're doing, just come out and say it. And so now we have Robert Pattinson as Batman, and you raised the question because it's true. Like, is this Ben Affleck's Batman? I mean, I thought I heard rumors that it takes place in the 90s, but I agree with you. We really don't know squat about this. Like, other than now, the one thing we know for sure is Robert Pattinson is Batman. But is this the DCEU? Have you and I done something wrong by calling this a state of the DCEU? Because it might not be part of that. Is the DCEU dead? And they're just trying to soft reboot solo things? I mean, what do you think like the DCEU is doing with this?
I really don't know. Like, I could kind of get a handle on what they're doing with the other characters, because it felt like in Aquaman, they were really trying to distance themselves from the shared universe. They give you a quick little mention of the events of Justice League, and that's really about it. And then same thing with Shazam. They acknowledge that Superman exists. They acknowledge that Batman exists. Unless I'm missing something, that's pretty much it. Like they're basically standalone movies that just kind of tease that they're in the DCEU, where the other films, aside from maybe Man of Steel, were very like, hey guys, we're in a universe, isn't it cool? And I don't know if they're taking that same approach with Batman. They're just trying to kind of go back, tell good standalone stories that don't have to have the baggage of the DCEU. I don't know if they're trying to figure out how they're going to get everything to work. Maybe that's why it's still taking so long, being able to do a younger Batman, but making it make sense in the universe. Maybe they're just going to take everything Gotham-wise and just shove it over into its own universe. They got plenty of characters to do that. I really don't know, but it's frustrating not knowing. I would rather know than to wait until get really anticipated, start hearing casting, start looking at like costume designs, get really excited, and they go, hey guys, guess what? This has nothing to do with the DCEU, and there's never going to be Batman ever again in the DCEU. And then we're all going to go, oh, so it's, that's my only fear. I'm not saying that it can't succeed if it's not part of the DCEU, but if the DCEU is going to continue, I don't see a point of having a Batman that's not part of it. So either reboot it all or, make them fit. And I just wish I had the answer to that.
Yeah. I'm probably wrong about this. This is just me doing a wild speculation. but I feel like the DCEU is dead. I feel like Warner Brothers is kind of letting it die. Because like what you were talking about, like Aquaman, yeah, it has like one throwaway comment to connect it to the DCEU and the Justice League movie, and that's about it. So you could really ignore it if you wanted to. And Shazam acknowledges Superman and Batman in a way that it doesn't have to be Cavill or Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is broad. And
Yeah.
so it could be anything. And like, I don't even know if they're even talking sequel for that yet or not. It was successful, so I don't know why they wouldn't. And a lot of people liked it. But so I'm looking at that and I'm just thinking, does this mean like the DCEU is really dead and they just don't want to say that yet? And what they're really doing by concentrating on solo stories is just, okay, that's what we do best. So that's what we're going to do. Forget the baggage, forget all of that. We can recast anything we want because honestly, you didn't like that anyway. Like, I feel like that's where it's heading. And if it starts to get successful, maybe then they'll find a way for a new DCEU and a new Justice League and bring this new cast together. But I'm getting the impression they want us the way Marvel wanted us to forget X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is wanting us to forget some of this other stuff from the DCEU in the past.
Yeah, either that or it might even be that they're going to kind of just put the DCEU like in their back pocket for 7 or 8 years. You know what I mean? Because by the time we get this Batman movie, they're saying what, 2021 or 2021?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one or the other. I know it's a long ways away, it seems like. But yeah, 2021. So, okay, so you get that one. 2-3 years maybe until the next one. 2-3 years maybe until the next one because there's rumors it's a trilogy. So maybe they crank out a trilogy of Batman movies in 10 years, and then by then Robert Pattinson's, close. I don't know what age he is. He's probably closer to 40 at that point, and then they can go, okay, now we can go back to the DCEU. Or maybe they're just waiting until they get a really good track record. Maybe they're waiting until they had success with Aquaman. They had a lot of success with Shazam. Hopefully they're going to have a lot of success with this Joker movie, even though it's its own separate thing. Maybe they're trying to get 6 or 7 hits in a row to where they'll gain the public's confidence again. When they start doing these team up movies again, everybody's not going to go, oh, you're doing it again. So by then everybody be like, all right, let's see what you got.
Yeah. And, I'm not against that. I think that's a good move. And I think it's a good way to kind of repair things and build things back up because that is the move Marvel did. That was correct. When they were creating their MCU, solo movies first so that we get attached to the characters. Then they bring them together as a team. And I feel like you could feel the desperateness in Warner Brothers, like the way they quickly tried to shove it all together. And by the second movie, we're combining universes with a Batman we haven't even met yet. So, yeah, I don't mind the move. Like, okay, let's build up Robert Pattinson. And now there's the rumors that there's going to be a new Supergirl, which that movie might come out and reboot Superman. Now, that's just a rumor that I just came across, on the most reliable source of all time, the internet.
Get it out of here. Get it out of here.
Yes. I don't want that at all. I love Henry Cavill as Superman, and I want his Man of Steel 2 so bad. I don't mind them doing a live-action Supergirl. Like, I'd be curious to see that, but make it work with Henry Cavill Superman. I would love to see that one, work that way. But, like, I just keep hearing all of these rumors. I'm just like, I just keep thinking they're heading towards a soft reboot. So I think you're right. I think they're going to try to build a good brand and get like 6 or 7 successful movies under them. But by the time you have 6 or 7 successful movies under them, now it's a different cast. It's a different universe. It's totally different. And now it's like a Justice League reboot, but with a cast that we, know and have followed all this time.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see. Still a gigantic question mark. The same questions we've been asking for 2 years.
Well, that's what's frustrating about this video. I want to add more things to this live video in this state of the DCEU. The only thing we have to add is Robert Pattinson is official. That's it.
Yeah, and some villain rumors. That's about it.
Yes. So speaking of villain rumors, Penguin and Catwoman. Batman Returns all over again. What do you think?
I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. For 2 reasons. One, I've never been a fan of the Penguin, period. I've never really been interested in that villain. I've seen like a couple of really, really big departures, like on the Telltale Batman game. Penguin is very different in that, and that was kind of cool. But Penguin, I've never really been a big fan of. Catwoman, I like, but I can kind of take or leave it. I want some of the newer, or not newer, but like some different Batman villains. I want like Black Mask. I want Deathstroke. I want Victor Zsasz. I want Man Bat, Mad Hatter. I want to see some things that we haven't seen.
And
We've
that would
seen
be
Catwoman.
cool.
That would be the third time we've seen a live action Catwoman. It'll be the second time we've seen Penguin. And it's just like, is that, I mean, it's, I kind of had the same feeling when they announced that Tom Hardy was going to be playing Bane for The Dark Knight Rises. I was like, Bane again? And he ended up being awesome. So maybe I'll be eating my words as soon as the movie comes out. But just if I was writing the script, they would be like bottom 20 or something like that of my choices. I would go for any of the other new iterations of characters before I would try to rehash things that we've already seen. And they're talking about the Riddler being in there, but they throw it in as an afterthought. So obviously he's probably just going to be like a kind of a side character, or he'll just kind of pop in for a bit. But they're also saying it's going to be a multitude of villains, but I don't even know what that means. Is it just going to be references, or are you just going to pass them in Arkham Asylum and be like, oh, Killer Croc? You know, I don't know what it's going to be, but they've pretty much, they've hammered home with Catwoman and Penguin as like the main ones.
And I came across, like, I'm just reading up on stuff today, and I came across rumors again online that they're going to try to do like 6 villains in this movie. And I'm like, oh, I hope you don't. I hope 6 villains over a trilogy. That is way more doable. So I'm hoping whatever that was, I misread that. But yeah, I feel the same as you. We've seen Penguin a lot. I think Penguin has potential. And I'm referring to Batman Year One, the graphic novel that I read, because I think they did a really good job with Penguin, good job revitalizing that character and tying him to the death of the Waynes, because he's like the Waynes, but on the evil side. And so they did a good job in that, kind of giving him a different little bit of a twist in origin. And he's only known as Cobblepot in that one, only known as Penguin by people who were kind of making fun of him behind his back because he resembled a penguin. But otherwise, it wasn't any weird kooky thing. It's just he was a weirdo trying to gain power in Gotham. So I wouldn't mind if they take the approach of Batman Year One. But I agree with you. Actually, if I was writing this script, I would take Mask of the Phantasm and make that live action. And I try to put some unique twist to separate it from the animated movie, so you can feel like you're still going into this and you're going to get something different. But the Phantasm was something we had never seen, and we've never seen that put into live action. And then you don't have to make Joker like the other villain that pops up in that. We could pick another villain like the Mad Hatter, you know, somebody that messes with your mind as you have the Phantasm messing with Bruce's memories as he's having all these crazy flashbacks. So there's a lot of interesting things you could do and throw in there to make it different. And so I agree with you, but I also hope I'm eating my words at the end of this. Like,
oh yeah, me too.
All these things. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see Red Hood too. He's a villain that I've always liked. That would be, I try to think of because they're talking about a trilogy. So I assume they have some kind of overarching storyline, kind of like the Dark Knight trilogy. So I try to think of is it going to be like an Azrael trilogy where they have, the whole thing with, then you have to bring Batman or Bane breaking his back again, and that's a rehash. But you have like Red Hood where you have to get a Joker. That's the other question. It's like, who's our Joker? Is it Jared Leto? Is it a different one? But yeah,
I don't think it's Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, his Joker's in the 80s, and he's only going to do one. So
yeah. So yeah, that would be a storyline that I would like to see, is Joker killing Jason Todd and then him coming back in the next movie as a villain or something. But I don't know. There's so many things that I would love to see. Like, I had so much fun when we did Pitch Wars, like making my own version of Batman and everything. And it's just selfishly, I want my damn story. I want the story that I want to do, my villains. And
I want your story too, man. I still think about your story. I mean, my gosh, you broke that down nicely. Go to his channel, check out that Pitch Wars video. I think every time we do a State of the DCEU, we're talking about it. But my gosh, Cody came up with the Batman story. Like, if you're going to reboot Batman and put him on the big screen and not rehash an origin story, Cody Leach is your screenplay writer. That thing was pretty darn amazing.
Matt Reeves, you can find me at yahoo.com. No, go ahead.
Chandler Videos, he posted this early on. He said, it's official. Taylor Lautner needs to be Superman.
No.
I saw that. I was like, wait, who's Taylor Lautner again? And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, the Wolf Boy.
That's the bad example of Twilight Guy. That's Twilight Guy that never did anything else that was worth anything.
Oh, my gosh. Well, let's put it to all the people who are in here right now. And I want to ask everybody watching right now this first question. Do you like the casting choice of Robert Pattinson as Batman? So go ahead right now, just that one. Then we'll get to the villain stuff. Do you like Robert Pattinson as Batman? Do you think he'll sparkle in the moonlight. And that's why
I
he
hope
sticks
not.
to the shadows.
But that would be a hilarious in joke, though. It's like the first time you actually see him, there's like a little twinkle, like ding, and like no, and then like everybody just freaks out.
That actually would be pretty funny. You know, something my wife said, and I need to make her do more videos with me because she has more insight than she credits herself for having. So she's only, like me, only seen Robert Pattinson in both the Harry Potter movie and in the Twilight movie. So, you know, we're not fans.
Mm-hmm.
But her comment was based off of what she saw from Harry Potter when he was Cedric Diggory, that cockiness that he had in that role. She goes, oh, I see him as Bruce Wayne 100% just for that. And so what do you think about that? I mean, do you see that? Like, do you think that he would present a good Bruce Wayne, if not a Batman?
I mean, yeah, that's always the interesting thing about that role is you kind of have two characters because you have Batman, who's basically the character you're playing, and Bruce Wayne, who is technically his identity, is like kind of his mask. You know what I mean? Bruce Wayne is the one that he has to kind of put on the show for. So you could have a lot of fun with the Bruce Wayne side of things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Movie Man has responded, and he said Robert Pattinson is a great actor. Sean Austin said, I'm so when he finishes that sentence, that'll be great.
Yeah, he says, I'm optimistic about Robert Pattinson. I could see
it.
it.
There it is. There it is. Okay. See, I only saw where he posted I'm and nothing else popped up. Lord Shin 33, I think he'll be good. Oh, there's the I'm optimistic about Robert Pattinson. Douglas Blaine, no. Hashtag not by Batman. Oh, this is taking a political turn.
Oh, yeah.
Chandler Video says, I think I might have the same thoughts as I would Christian Bale. I like his Bruce Wayne, but not sure with Batman. He'll be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I understand that one.
Yeah, and then Raphael Parker says, Brazil says yes. Okay, so a lot of people really, really excited about Robert Pattinson as Batman. So I feel like a minority.
Yeah.
All right, so another question.
Jake B makes a good point, too. He says, I'm looking forward to it only because I trust Matt Reeves, and that is the big thing. I trust Matt Reeves fully. As long as WB doesn't have, like, all their fingers in the pot, I think he'll deliver an awesome movie because two of his past two films are some of the best sci-fi movies ever made, especially Dawn. So, I mean, if you could take that level of artistry and put it in a Batman movie,
oh, I'm down. And I love this idea that this Batman is going to be the detective. Like, that's where their focus is going to be, is Batman as the detective, which we have not seen. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Feels like when I saw Heath Ledger was the Joker and I freaked out inside, I went, well, I do trust Christopher Nolan. And so I feel the same about this, that I trust Matt Reeves. I love his tone for those last two Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Horror Paradise said, I don't dislike it. He's got the filmography depth, in my opinion, to go... Wait, hold on. I don't dislike it. He's got the filmography depth, in my opinion, to go back up the opinion he'll be... Wait. To back up the opinion, he'll be cool. Apparently, like many projects, he's done. YOLO. All right. I can't read today. I need more coffee. Oh, man. Let's see. John Early, Vanessa Hudgens is rumored to be Catwoman, Durbania. That's pretty cool. I mean, what do you think about that?
I don't know if it's rumored necessarily. I can't remember if it was her saying that she wanted to be or somebody just threw that out there because it's like another like kind of tweeny bopper actress. Look, I'm willing to give anybody a shot. Like, who would have thought when you watched High School Musical that guy would be playing Ted Bundy in a few years? So I get it.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never seen anything from Vanessa Hudgens that I'm like, all right, cool. Like, and maybe she's had some great stuff I just haven't seen. You know, I would, if you're going to cast Catwoman again, get somebody that's like the best Catwoman you could ever have, like an Emily Blunt or something that can do all the action and bring the gravitas to it. Something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah. That would be a casting where I'd be like, oh, and it would feel like it would feel like they're just going really against everybody's expectations just to do it at that point. Then you could throw in Taylor Lautner as Superman and everything else and be like, oh, yep.
Movie Man quoting Black Panther, get this man some coffee. Thank you, Movie Man. Yes, I would love some coffee right now. Kelkin 0706 says this, but I'm worried about the way he will look in the costume. You know, I have not mentioned that, but that is a thought that goes through my head. Like, how will Robert Pattinson look in the costume? And it goes back to something you said earlier. Like, what's he going to do? Is he going to buff up? Or is he going to get all lean to look like he's bigger? I mean, do you have any concerns based on what you know of this actor of what he's going to look like in the costume?
I just think he's a little bit lean for what I would expect from a Batman, especially if it's going to be the same guy as Ben Affleck, or especially after showing us a Batman that bulky. But I don't know. It's hard to judge without seeing the costume.
It really is. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I need to see the costume. Like, I'm curious to know, are they going to go with that Ben Affleck costume, the gray and then the black, cape and cowl, or are they going to go back to the armored uniform? Like, I'm curious what they're going to do. But if he could turn his head and actually have full range of motion, I'm going to be very, very happy.
Yeah.
So, next question I'll put out to the audience here. What do you think of the villains, Penguin and Catwoman? Do you guys like that, yes or no? And then afterwards, any other questions you have for me and Cody, toss that out there. Any other questions you have for us? So, yeah. Lord Shen 33, no Vanessa Hudgens as Catwoman. If Catwoman is going to be in the movie, get me an unknown who can knock it out of the park.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of like that too. I don't think they're going to cast an unknown. I think they're going to try to definitely get somebody that's well known, but I'm not for the Vanessa Hudgens thing.
Yeah.
Not really for me.
I was for unknown for Batman. I really was, because like any actor you cast is going to come with baggage. I mean, we all freaked out when Ben Affleck was Batman. We all freaked out when Robert Pattinson was Batman. Apparently, they all freaked out when Michael Keaton was Batman. Actors have baggage. I would have been excited if it was just an unknown playing Batman, but I get it. It's Hollywood. You want to secure your bets and make your money and get names.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Dog says, I hope he doesn't do the gravelly voice.
Oh, God. I think they've learned a lesson with that.
Do you think they'll do
He's going to have the voice modulator thing, and that's going to be the solution going forward.
I actually like when they did it on Arrow, and that was before Ben Affleck was Batman. I thought that was super smart. Like when Oliver Queen needed to disguise his voice around people he knew, and he had the voice modulator. I was like, now that sounds really, really cool. I want the voice modulator.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Movie Man agrees with you. I would have preferred villains that haven't been on the big screen.
Looks like 3C Films dropped a question right before everybody started chiming in.
Opinions on possible Robin coming in. I don't believe the rumors, but I'm a huge Robin fan. Yeah, I actually read some rumors today. I didn't know who was going to be casted in it. I like Robin myself, and I feel like if this is a young Batman, it needs to be Dick Grayson and not, Damian Wayne. That's definitely kind of an older Batman discovering his lost son. I think I would definitely like us to start at the beginning. Like, if this is not a Batman origin story, maybe it's a Robin origin story. I think that would be cool. But I mean, what do you think? You think we should introduce a Robin, or what do you?
I like the version of Robin that we got in the Arkham games, where it's like a little bit older Robin, like not necessarily Boy Wonder, not like the 12-year-old kid that's coming along. That's really hokey, but like a 20-something-year-old kind of kid from the streets that he takes in. I'm cool with that. The only issue is, and I don't know the dude's age, but Robert Pattinson looks very young. So I feel like he's too young of a Batman to have a Robin. Like Ben Affleck's Batman would make sense to have a Robin because he's already like, mid-40s or something like that. Then you see something like, maybe part of the trilogy, not necessarily the first movie, but I don't know, just the aesthetic of Robert Pattinson getting a younger Robin that's not going to look like the same age as him. I don't know if they could do that.
That's true. I actually did not even think about how young he looks, and you cast a young Robin in that role. Like, they could look the same age. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't want a kid Robin. So I want an older Robin like the video games. But the Batman, it just makes sense to me that Batman would look older and be older than Robin.
Yeah, exactly. By a good ways, a good 10, 15 years at least.
Yeah. No, I was reading that today, and my mind just kept going back and forth because I thought, yeah, that would be cool to watch Batman training Robin. But, sometimes Robin is just a hard character to get right and make interesting. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought Batman Forever was the best thing ever for bringing Chris O'Donnell in as Robin.
Me too. I thought Batman and Robin was the best thing ever until I watched it as like a 12-year-old.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, when I saw that as a kid, I was like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah!
Exactly.
And then I got older and I went, oh, poor Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, did that happen to you on purpose? Oh, my gosh. Let's see. C. Regio said, I hope I said your name right, said Poison Ivy should be the villain. Yeah, we haven't seen that. Let's see. Tyler Lautner as Superman. We need to let that die right now. Let that die. No, we're not bringing those two back together and having Superman fly around without his shirt 90%.
Batman is not Team Jacob.
No, no. Renegade Hero said, how are you, Durbin and Cody? Well, I'm a little tired and can use some coffee. How are you, Cody?
I'm a little tired. I don't drink coffee.
No. Well, then you're doing way worse than me. Oh my gosh. Jake B, Zach Efron as Superman.
Henry Cavill is Superman. How about that?
Yeah, let's keep Henry. Yeah, let's keep Henry, and let's figure out what we're doing with this timeline. 3C films. You think you'll get any supernatural villains, or will it stick to grounded, realistic villains? I would love Clayface.
I think that the DCEU has gone so bonkers already that they have no reason to hold back. Like the Christopher Nolan trilogy, it made sense not to go too supernatural, but I mean, we have guys that are swimming and talking underneath water, and there's all kind of stuff going on. So yeah, bring on all the clay faces and the most animated version of Ra's al Ghul and Man Bat and all that kind of stuff. Bring it all on. We don't need the grounded villains for the 18th time.
No, we don't. But, knowing that for sure it's Penguin and Catwoman, we don't know who else is going to be there in the background, or a rumored Riddler. Like, those three already sound grounded to me right off the bat. Maybe their personalities won't be, but in terms of characters, they sound pretty grounded. But if we do indeed get this whole trilogy, I definitely want some. I want Man Bat for sure. He is one of my favorite characters in Batman the Animated Series, and Clayface is pretty cool. It'd be cool to see those two come up against each other. And Mad Hatter has a lot of potential. I mean, the way that he could get in your brain and mess with your head. One of my favorite the Batman the Animated Series episodes was when Batman didn't know he was in a dream the entire episode, and then when he figured it out by opening books and going, wait a minute, I can't read any of these words. Wait, reading is on this one side of the brain. Dreaming happens on the other. Wait, what's the last thing I remember? And he starts putting it all together and has to figure out how to wake up. It was brilliant. I would love to see something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Holland as Robin from the Gamer Critic. Oh.
No more.
No more. Yeah, I you know what? I don't think he would be a bad Robin, but it's too late. He is Spider-Man, and I can't see him as anything else. There's too much baggage for him to come over there.
Exactly.
Renegade Hero, I want a good Riddler. Scarecrow is really good. Would love to see Man Bat too.
Scarecrow is really good. They kept him real minimalistic in the Nolan trilogy, but if you do something, I keep going back to the Arkham games, but you do something like the Arkham games where he's like a horror villain almost, that would be awesome. And I've said numerous times, I'm cool. If they would have just said the Riddler, I would have been fine. Yeah, because the Riddler, I still want a really demented Riddler. And again, going back to the Arkham games, he's very almost like Jigsaw from the Saw games or Saw movies.
Yeah,
he's sets traps and he wants so badly to outsmart Batman and everything like that. You could do some really cool story things with a Riddler like that, and not necessarily, you don't have to go anywhere near what Jim Carrey did.
No. Which is funny because he was the saving grace of Batman Forever, which doesn't bode well for Batman Forever. But yeah. No, let's see here. Riddler would be amazing. Speaking on Arkham games, I want live action Batman to fight the way he does in those games. I agree, 3C films. As a matter of fact, I would just take the Arkham game storyline and make that your live action trilogy. Those games did the best work on those villains and great story. It would be amazing to see that.
Go ahead.
Sounds like the Leach family has arrived home. That's awesome. Gamer Critic would love to see Two-Face, which, you know what? Two-Face would be cool to see. But we've kind of seen him as Aaron Eckhart, and he was a pretty slick villain. It's going to be kind of hard to, redo that one so soon. But yeah, actually, I don't know. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see. Let's see. Lord Shin, going old school here. I'd like to see Batman versus Dracula. Batman versus Dracula.
That would be interesting. I got to head out, man.
All right, Cody. Well, thank you so much. I'll go ahead and I'll close this off. You go and take care of that family of yours.
Absolutely.
All right. See you later, Cody.
See ya.
All right. Well, make sure you head over to Cody Leach's channel and check out his channel. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. So any of you guys have any final questions for me while I'm here, go ahead and drop those. Cody's family got in, and you know how that is. You got to take care of family. So yeah, talking about Batman villains, Two-Face is a little too soon for me. I think he's a great villain, though. I'd love to see him. And Jake B, yeah, I'd love a new Mr. Freeze. I think Mr. Freeze would be a fantastic villain, especially since, you know, we're more free to go crazy and stuff like that. You know what? If we're going to go crazy, I want to see Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you guys see that animated movie, Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? That movie was flipping fantastic. I highly recommend that. I would love, I mean, I think that could bring us a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 live action and just be a fun way to get Batman back in this universe and just do a fun Batman movie showing him being the world's greatest detective. That might be too much too soon. So let's give it a few movies and get a base under it. But man, I would love to see that. Chandler's videos, would you say Man of Steel is overrated? Chandler, you're asking a question you know the answer to. No, it's not overrated. In fact, from my perspective, I think it's underrated. And I feel like it's really hated on. So I really feel like Man of Steel gets a lot of hate and is very underrated. And I think that movie is fantastic and should be given a second chance to just enjoy it for what it is. When Man of Steel came out, and then the sequel rumor was a Batman versus Superman, and I thought that might be rushing it, but I thought, oh, well, at least we'll always have Man of Steel. Yeah, that should answer your question right there. I love Man of Steel, and I think it's underrated. Kellen Kin 0706, what is your favorite Arkham game? I think my favorite one is the second one, simply because I love the awesome fighting mode that you could do where, you know, you just fight a whole bunch of bad guys. So you can just pick a level and you can play as Batman, or you can play as Robin or Nightwing or Catwoman or any number one of those characters. And then you can just keep building the level of hardness and fighting all these different villains. I loved that. That is my favorite. And then my PlayStation 3, the thing that reads the disc, stopped reading the discs. And so I can't play it anymore. And I am incredibly saddened by that. Let's see. The Gamer Critic, Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was awesome. Totally agree. Renegade Hero, what do you think would be, who do you think would be good as the Flash? It's hard for me to sit here and cast superheroes. Like, I want to come up with who I think would be good as a Supergirl, but I just can't. Like, for me, it's hard for me to take current actors and put them as my heroes, because in my own head, in my own imagination, I just have like pictures of who these heroes really are. And the Flash, I mean, I like our Flash on the CW. I think he's a really good Flash. I'm not a fan of that show as much. I haven't watched it really since season 4. I kind of just gave up on it. But I mean, to put him in a good, solid Flash movie, I would definitely be a fan of. It'd probably be, you know, confusing because it's a part of that universe. It's a part of a DC cinematic universe. Who on this green earth knows? So, like, I get that that would be very, very confusing. But yeah, it's hard for me. For an actor, I think you would need somebody that's like Tom Holland, that is young, that has that humor, and kind of bring that type of humor to that role. But like Spider-Man is really intelligent, and you see their intelligence. So you would need kind of a young actor that can do that. Horror Paradise, thank you so much. Great stuff as usual. Driscoll Brothers, what is up? The Horror Junkie 78. Adam West was one of the best Batmans. I agree. He embraced his Batman. He embraced what his Batman was and had an absolute blast with it. 3C Films. Percentage you feel that Henry Cavill is out? I say 80%. I'm going to go 65%. I think there's still a solid chance he's in, because everything I've seen about what he says about that role, he likes it and he wants to stick with it. But all these weird things about him getting paid more or whatever, and now he's doing this Netflix series that I'm pretty interested to check out when that finally comes out. It seems like it's going to be harder to get him back. I think if he got a Man of Steel 2 script that he really liked and really enjoyed, I think he's in. I really, really do. But yeah, and if they pay him, I think he's definitely in. And I think he's worth it. I really do. It's not like Warner Brothers doesn't have money. And I think Henry Cavill is a great Superman for the 21st century. So I think he should stay in, and I'm 65% sure he'll stick around. But that also highly depends on Warner Brothers. Like Cody and I were talking about earlier with Robert Pattinson as Batman. Well, is this the Ben Affleck Batflick Batman universe? Or is this just a separate Batman thing where they're trying to do a standalone Batman thing? And so if that's what it is, it's separate. well, then you don't have to bring Cavill back because now we have a different branch that we're going off into a different DCEU reality here. So I think it highly depends on the direction that Warner Brothers wants to go. And I think it depends on how embarrassed are they truly of the first half of the DCEU. But I would love for Henry Cavill to stay. Can't wait for Spider-Man Far From Home. Same here. I am super excited. The Horror Junkie 78, Keanu Reeves as Deathstroke. I think I can see that. I mean, I really like the Deathstroke that was in Arrow. So that's kind of become the picture that's cemented in my head. So it's kind of hard to get around that picture. But Keanu Reeves is really good. And the way that dude can move, and John Wick, and to see him, like, his hair kind of dyed white and wearing an eye patch, I could see that. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. It's not the one I'm going to root for right away, but it's not the worst idea. Raphael Parker, what's your best actor for the new Superman? I don't have one. I want Henry Cavill to stay. Like, that's just kind of where I'm at. I would rather have him stay or do an unknown. And I've said that a lot, but it's hard. It's hard for me to pick an actor for a superhero because really the baggage they carry with them. From Batman The Dark Knight, do you think Daredevil and Marvel Netflix will be back on Hulu? I hope so. I don't know if they will be or not because all the weird stuff going on with the copyright, the whatever, Disney Plus. Like, it's so overly weird and dramatic and complicated. I seriously have no flipping clue. I would like to see those shows continue on. If it doesn't, I think Daredevil had a fantastic ending. So I will always be happy with Daredevil. 3 astounding seasons. And if it continues on, I'll be there. Let's see. What else do we got? The Gaming Geek. I want Keanu Reeves as Kenshi in the Mortal Kombat movie. Driscoll Brothers, I hope the Riddler is the villain of the Batman movie. All the rumors I hear, it's Penguin and Catwoman. It'd be interesting if it's like the twist and the Riddler's like pulling the strings, and it would be cool to get a new take on the Riddler. But everything I'm hearing, it sounds like the main villains are Penguin and Catwoman. And you know Catwoman, she's like always on the fence between being a villain and a hero, always on the fence between, being Batman's girl and I'm going to beat the snot out of Batman. So always on the fence there. So, all right. I am going to go for maybe about another 5 minutes. So let's see. It is 11 after right now, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Did I just reveal how bad I am at math? So at 16 after, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So go ahead and get your final questions either about Robert Pattinson as Batman or any DC questions or anything else you have for me. Go ahead and throw those up, and I'm going to about 16 after. I'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let's see. Batman The Dark Knight. I agree. Renegade Hero. Do you play video games? I do. I don't play them as much as I used to, or even as much as I would like to, but I do. My main thing right now is the Nintendo Switch, so I think I've beaten Mario Odyssey like 4 or 5 times. Like, that is a really fun game. And, right now I'm loving Smash Brothers. Like, that is terrific. So yeah, I do, but not as much as I would, like to. Driscoll Brothers, you should really see Rocket Man. It's amazing. Thank you for the suggestion. I haven't seen it yet, so thank you. You going to see X-Men? Yes, I am. And on the topic of X-Men, I just recently rewatched all of the X-Men movies in chronological order. So right now, I'm working on a video to kind of do a analysis on like the fear of the X-Men gene. Like, why are people so darn afraid of the X-Men gene? They're not afraid of superheroes like Captain America and Spider-Man, but when it comes to mutants and the X-Men, they're terrified. They hate them and they persecute them. So I'm working on a video right now. Filmed a little bit of it today. I'm like 30% happy with it. So I'm probably going to refilm it and then edit that. So that'll come up later this week. I'm going to do an X-Men ranking this week. I'm going to review Dark Phoenix. So I got a lot of X-Men related material coming out this week, and I'm very much looking forward to talking about that. Renegade Hero, I recommend playing a game called Deathmark. It's great and on the Switch. Thank you so much. I will have to look that up. Let's see here. Damien, I hope I'm saying your name right. Damien C. and Scott, do you play the Resident Evil video games? I do not. I would like to, and I probably should pick those up, but I do not. Let's see. Anybody else, before I close out here in about 3 minutes, any other DC-related questions? Robert Pattinson as Batman or anything else that you would like to see with this Matt Reeves Batman trilogy as we close this out? Driscoll Brothers, I really hope X-Men Dark Phoenix is good. I feel like I'm the only one super excited for Dark Phoenix. You're not the only one. I'm excited for Dark Phoenix. And while, there's all those stories of the drama, behind the scenes and stuff, I feel like the trailers that have come out for that movie are actually pretty darn good. So I think that it looks like it's going to be good, and I have high hopes, fingers crossed for it, that it's going to be really good. The Dark Knight, you should play Ultimate Alliance when it comes out. I'll have to check it out. Renegade Hero, thank you for answering my questions. Renegade Hero, thank you for asking those questions. Let's see if there's anybody that I missed. We got about 2 minutes left to go. Anything that I didn't answer that you wanted to answer, go ahead and resubmit that right now, and we'll do some final wrap-up questions. So Cody Leach joined me earlier. His family came home. He had to go ahead and take off and take care of the family, which is the most important thing one can do. But make sure you go check out Cody Leach's channel. If you love horror films and you want to dive into that horror talk, and I mean, he is so excellent at it. His channel is just so slick. Check it out. Hit that subscribe button. Tell him Durbin sent you. Driscoll Brothers, are you excited for Men in Black 4? Yeah, I am. I love the Men in Black movies. The first one is obviously my favorite. The second one is pretty darn good. Back and forth on the third, but Josh Brolin was really fun in that role. So, like, all three X-Men movies have things that I really like about them, and I think the trailers for this... Did I say X-Men? I meant Men in Black. All three Men in Black movies have things in them that I think are really good, so I'm really excited for Men in Black 4. Batman The Dark Knight. I hope the second Batman Matt Reeves movie will happen in Arkham Asylum. That would be awesome. I would really love to see the video game Arkham Asylum storyline translated to the big screen. I just think that would be absolutely epic. I love the Arkham Asylum storylines from those three games. They were just incredible. Driscoll Brothers, they better not put Robin in the Batman movie. There's rumors, but you know how the internet is. So, like, one day, Robin's in this one. The next day, no, there will be no Robin. And then, yeah, Robin's in this one. So, who on this earth knows at this point? All right, well, it is now 16 after, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. So I want to say a huge thank you to all of you who joined Cody Leach and myself for this live stream of our State of the DCEU, talking about our opinions of Robert Pattinson as Batman. I think Cody Leach and I both aren't beyond thrilled about it, but we got a little bit of help. A little bit of hope. I mean, I can't see it right now, but I couldn't see Heath Ledger as the Joker before. So I'm just going to trust Matt Reeves, as Cody and I were talking about earlier. Trust Matt Reeves. Trust that he knows exactly what he's looking for and that Robert Pattinson is what he was looking for. So I'm excited to see what goes on with these Batman movies, because no matter what, Batman's awesome, right? So just hoping that it's going to be awesome, and I'm very, very, very much looking forward to it. Batman The Dark Knight says, this is my favorite superhero movie. Thanks, Durbin. Have a good one, man. Thank you, Renegade Hero. This is my favorite superhero movie. Which one? The Dark Knight? Is it the Dark? Because that's the name on your, your screen name. It's got to be The Dark Knight. Yes, The Dark Knight is a fantastic movie. I 100% agree. It probably is my favorite of the Batman movies, minus Christian Bale's grabbing that voice. But the way it's written, the way they did the Joker, everything. I think The Dark Knight was a tremendous film. Batman Begins was also pretty tremendous. I really did enjoy that too. So thank you guys so much for joining Cody Leach and myself for this State of the DCEU live stream as we discussed Robert Pattinson. In the comments below right now, what do you think of the casting choice of Robert Pattinson as Batman? Be sure to let us know. Cody and I will do our best to respond to you and answer those questions. While you're there, go over to Cody Leach's channel, hit that subscribe button, and check out his channel and all the great stuff that he has over there. And hit that subscribe button here. So that, and the bell by the subscribe button, so you're notified for my next live stream, my next State of the DCEU, the next movie review, like all the X-Men stuff I'm going to be dropping this week. A theological analysis on X-Men, Fear of the Mutant Gene, X-Men ranking video, a Dark Phoenix movie review. So make sure you hit the bell so when all of that stuff drops, you're notified. Plus, as more and more DCEU stuff comes out, like what's going on with Wonder Woman 84, any new Batman news, or anything else going on, you know Cody Leach and I, either on his channel or on this channel, will knock out a State of the DCEU and invite you to be a part of that conversation. So thank you all so much for joining me on this live stream. Goodbye, everyone. Have a fantastic evening.